What's up, everybody? I'm Bree.
And I'm Evan.
And this is Reality Check TV.
Back at you.
Here's where we discuss some of our favorite reality shows to watch together as a couple. So if you love reality TV like we do, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you can get notified anytime we post a new review.
And of course, we'd like to welcome our new subscribers.
Yes.
Our new viewers. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I hope everybody had a great Tuesday. We're happy to see new friends, new faces. Y'all been doing great in the comments. As y'all know, we're going to reply. Just give us some time. Let us know your
Okay, guys. How are you feeling? What's up? Happy Tuesday. I hope you guys are off to a great work week. Listen, we back for the foolishness. We are here to do a Love and Marriage Huntsville review. And you know what? We're not going to waste too much time. Okay. Right. I got to go work out. Right. I got to go work out. So I'm not about to give these people more time than what they deserve because they've already taken a lot of my precious time with their foolishness all last week and in this past episode. So we're gonna have to hurry this up, okay? We're gonna have to hurry this up. You got anything else?
No, we're straight to it today.
Yes. Let's get into it. So we're gonna go ahead and get Stormy and Courtney out the way. And let me not say so much Stormy. Let's say Courtney. Because Courtney, this episode, he gets his little individual moment. And I don't want to say it's insignificant. I feel like it was an opportunity for us to get to know Courtney a little bit better. But I still feel like there were just some holes within his scene. You
can't tell me, out of all these years in life, that's their first time having a conversation like that.
That's my thing, right? Like
you can't, I understand you get emotional, but you can't tell me that's the first time you talk to your mom about that stuff.
Right. That's my thing. So you know what we're talking about. Courtney goes and meets with his mother. From the very beginning of this season, the whole topic of conversation between Stormy and Courtney is Stormy is wanting to have more kids. She wants to extend their family. And if you guys remember, I feel like it was a season premiere where they had the conversation and Courtney really wasn't trying to hear it. He wasn't even open to have the discussion. And we said the same thing in that episode where we was like, this cannot be the first time that they're having this conversation.
Right.
Because, they already have their baby right now. They have their first child. So we just kind of felt like, is this real?
Right.
I'm not going to minimalize his feelings and the vulnerability that was showed during this scene with his mother. But I do have to question, I guess, I'm trying to figure out how to say it. I am questioning the motive and the purpose of this scene, I guess. Right. He goes to his mom's house and they're talking about, just kind of some of the tension that him and Stormy haven't been experiencing because she does want to extend a family. And Courtney's mom just kind of goes into their upbringing and how she was raised by a single parent and how he was raised by a single parent. And long story short, she kind of just exposes the fact that you may be feeling this way because, you felt abandoned by your father. And so you don't want your kids to go through the same thing. Like whether, it's Stormy, something happens to Stormy or Stormy's not in their life anymore or Tim or whatever. He just doesn't want his kids to feel the same pain that he felt growing up, right? By having an absentee father or parent. I relate, right? But I don't have any kids. And I just feel like we just said, these are discussions that I would assume was had before you got married.
Mm-hmm.
And if it didn't happen before you got married, I feel like these are conversations that was had before you had your baby.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it wasn't conversations that you had once you had your baby, then I think it really would have been the topic of discussion once after delivery. And, you know, Stormy had a really complicated pregnancy. So when going through all of that and just postpartum, I feel like it would have come up then.
Yeah.
And I think right now, I think the baby's like 2, maybe. Sure. I know the baby's walking around. So I just feel like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how real this scene was. And I'm really having a hard time with this because the scene felt real because he was really crying. He was really emotional about it. And you can tell he was having a difficulty expressing himself. And his mom was the one to chime in and kind of say or verbalize how he was feeling. Mm-hmm. Like, what are your thoughts?
You know, like I just said, like, I don't feel that's the first time they had that convo.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not taking away from their moment. You know, I really do feel he has feelings about how he grew up. But I just think it was just weird that, you know, I can just see it now. Production's like, hey, Courtney, you need a scene, bro. Like, don't you want to go visit your mom and talk about something deep? Like, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems a little... It seems like kind of a forced scene, like... We need to know a little bit about your Courtney, so go talk to your mom. Let's film.
About this particular topic. Mm-hmm. But, you know, let's pretend and say that this is the first time that they're having this conversation. I just feel like I am a big advocate for mental health and therapy. If y'all haven't realized that by now, that is extremely important to me. And so I recommend to all of you men and women out there that do not have kids, that are not married, please go to therapy before you get married and have kids. Please do that, if anything. And if kids and marriage is not a part of your life goals, that's not what you want, that's not what you aspire to be, you don't aspire to be a mother or a father, okay, still go to therapy, please.
But, you know, not taking away from his mom, the one thing I do understand is, you know, him talking about the trauma about her, you know, losing a lot of blood. Mm-hmm. You know, I can feel it from that. You know, that's your partner. Yeah. You fear for your partner and you rather your partner be alive than possibly have another child and put them in jeopardy.
Right.
So I definitely understand Courtney on that.
Right.
So, you know, I'm not taking away from his mom, but I definitely understand that.
Right. And I relate to what he was talking about because, like I said, I don't have any kids and I'm not married yet, but it is a fear of mine because I was raised by a single mother, and I recognize that early on in my adulthood that there is still some trauma and abandonment issues to work through, and so all of my fear of being a mother is wrapped up in the fact of I don't want my kids to experience the same type of abandonment and trauma that I experienced. So I can relate to him on that level. And I do think that this scene was necessary, I will say. I mean, even though we just sat here and kind of critiqued and judged him. And not so much him, but just the package of the situation. But I do think it was necessary because it did give us an opportunity to kind of get a better understanding of who Courtney is, even separate from his wife. Same thing with Stormy, right? Like, we've been getting the individual scenes with Stormy, and we kind of know who Stormy is. And whether, you know, love her or hate her, we kind of know who she is, and we're getting to know her. And so this was a great opportunity for us to kind of get a peek into Courtney's life and the way he kind of operates. And if anything, we find out that he clearly has a good relationship with his mother. Clearly. All right. So the episode opened up with Kimmy having this really uncomfortable, unnecessary, ridiculous conversation with Kiowa. You guys remember last week's episode, that was the cliffhanger, them having their one-on-one, the one-on-one that Maurice actually set up. And it was all because, he was able to manipulate Kimmy. And we'll get to more of, Kimmy manipulation later, because we are most definitely going to share a little bit of our thoughts of that ridiculous interview, of course, that everybody's talking about that they did last week. But Kimmy falls for the okie doke and is now forcing this conversation with Kiowa about how she feels like Kiowa lacks integrity because she didn't speak up during that time where people were out here saying that Kimmy was the side chick. Now, we gave our thoughts on that last week. Ain't nothing changed. If anything, my thoughts have gotten stronger, especially based off of this interview that they just did. So I don't have anything else to say about Kimmy being the side chick. But as far as the conversation with Kiowa, it was so uncomfortable because Kiowa, of course, is looking at her like I don't understand how this is my issue.
Kiowa does not care.
And she didn't care. But she was also like, I just don't understand why this is my issue. Because I think what she really wanted to say was, you was looking for me to cater for you and to, quiet all of the rumors and to stick up for you when that should have been your husband. Mm-hmm. Like, how are you going to ask his ex-wife to do what your husband should have been doing? It should have been your husband. Your husband should have been the one going around doing interviews on social media, telling everybody that you are not the side chick. If that's, if that's really what it was, right? But he didn't do that.
And, to be honest with y'all, I'm only going to say one thing about this scene. The only thing I got from this scene was, I feel like the only thing Kimmy wanted to accomplish is she just wanted to hear Kiowa say out her mouth that she wasn't the side chick. That was right. That was literally all Kimmy cared about.
Right. Right.
And, to be honest with you, like I said, it's not Kiowa's job. Your husband made you look like that.
Right.
That's all Kimmy came. And after that, it's like her demeanor changed. She got this little smile going now. She felt like she got what she wanted to hear. I mean, but okay, Kiowa can apologize to you. She can still feel you were. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know. That's all I got to say about the whole scene. So
it's just, it's hilarious to me. Again, sticking to this topic, right? Like with you, Kimmy, wanting Kiowa to stick up for you. It's amazing because not only is she the ex-wife and baby mother of Maurice, you're pushing all of this energy towards her, mm-hmm. right? And I think behind closed doors, it was given to Maurice too, to mm-hmm. a certain extent. But what about his family? Because let's not play the game. Again, I was there. Okay, I was there. We was all there. We was all there. If you've been watching this show since season 1, or if you was able to binge watch from season 1, episode 1, we were all there. This isn't something that happened so long ago, decades ago, where there's no proof or social media evidence. We were all there and we saw even the subliminal comments and remarks that Marceau was making about Kimmy being the side chick. Or what about Martell? Or what about Tisha? All of them were playing into Kimmy being the side chick. Everybody was doing that. And I feel like it was unfair to have this one-on-one with Kiowa. And I'm going to get to Kiowa in a minute. She's not completely removed from having any type of responsibility in this just shit show of a co-parenting mess. But focusing with the issue at hand, I felt like it was unfair for Kimmy to put all of that responsibility in that moment onto Kiowa. She went as far as to say, my son, meaning Jalen, he's watching this too, or, he had to see the comments too. And I feel like Maurice, it was always about protecting you and Monster. But what about me and my son type of thing? And I felt like to a certain extent, okay, fine. But I felt like it was unfair to put all of that onto her. Mm-hmm. Because my thing is, this is the first time that I'm hearing you even bring up Jalen, and in a way of saying like, well, what about him and what he's going to think when it comes to what people are saying or what he sees on the show. Because, oh my God, that has been my number one question for the past month about I wonder what Jalen is thinking and seeing watching his mother exist in this marriage. That is so abusive and unfulfilling and just disgusting. Like it's just again, just a shit show. And it didn't make matters better with what has happened in the last couple of weeks. That's the only thing that I could really be thinking of besides Kimmy and her feelings and how she's been represented because of her horrible husband. But her son, it's, like Jalen's like around my age, where he's in his 20s. Like we're in our 20s. So he's a grown man who also is probably dating and having relationships of his own. I can't even imagine what that looks like in his life with having this man treat his mother and talk to his mother this way, especially while she was going through cancer. And so I just felt like I felt like, Kimmy, you was really reaching in this scene when you made that comment about Jalen. That was the part that really bothered me, because I was just like, okay, I really hope that you are having the same exact conversation with Maurice. I didn't like that. I didn't like when she said that. It was something about that really aggravated me.
Mm-hmm. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a next scene with Monster and Maurice. Look like they went to an indoor basketball gym. Maurice actually spending time with his newfound child that he finds out he has a child. I guess this is his way of bonding with his child for the first time in 15 years, 16 years, whatever. But, first let me state, Maurice looks so out of shape. Over there, dressed like a starburst. Oh my gosh. I think Monster beat him in one-on-one like 14-2. Like, Monster looked like he was good at basketball. Like,
yeah, he did. Like I will say it, yeah.
Maurice needs to find another hobby. Maurice looked terrible. Like, I don't know how many air balls I saw.
Sorry to cut you off, because he's been pushing for Monster to do football.
Okay, Monster looks better in basketball.
Well, I don't know.
And Monster has a basketball build to me. He doesn't look like.
He seems like he's very tall.
Yeah. So. Yeah, Monster beats Maurice down. Maurice trying to play it off. In his mind, he's like, let him win. No, you suck. But, this was an opportunity for Maurice to, spend some time, talk to Monster. He asked him about what he thought of, their little meeting with Kiowa and Kimmy. And Monster, talking to his mom and Kimmy. And Monster said, he felt like it was needed, but I found it interesting how he said, though, it's getting boring. And what I'm getting from Monster saying that is, you have people saying the same things to him, but they're not switching it up, maybe trying to get the message across differently.
Yeah.
Which can get pretty boring. And when you're dealing with a team, you definitely have to kind of get down to their level sometimes to try to communicate things to them. You just can't, do the same talk. You have to switch it up. You're trying to find a way to communicate with them. They're not adults. They're still learning. So you still got to treat them like kids. And I find it funny too, because Maurice also did too. They talked about their communication, talking about Monster opening his mouth more, asking for what he needs. And I said, Maurice, you making it seem so easy, but how you are when it comes to people trying to talk to you, right. No wonder he's like, just when they had that meeting, Monster's body language.
Right.
He I feel Maurice caused that.
Yes.
I feel like Maurice talking about, you can come to me about anything. I don't feel that's no, because I feel like behind the scenes, how you've communicated with Monster, he feels reluctant to talk to you about certain things, which he would rather talk to Kiowa about. Because I believe there's a scene even in the kitchen when they had that little going over his little list and stuff, how they're talking about disciplining. And I don't know if it was one of the things where Monster kind of said that he respected Kimmy more a little bit, or he said something about Kimmy more than Maurice when it comes to the discipline and the structure.
Yeah.
But You know, I can just tell, like, just by their interaction, like, they seem like they haven't had this interaction in a while, haven't had a talk in a while, haven't really hung out in a while doing stuff like that. Um, but, I felt like Monster's body language was a lot better. I felt like he was kind of more relaxed, playing ball. I saw him smiling more. Um, I felt like he opened up to the best of his ability.
Yeah.
Because Monster said before, he just really doesn't feel like opening up sometimes. He'd rather just talk to himself.
Which sounds familiar. Sounds like his wife.
Because
his wife can't even come to him to have a conversation,
Mm-hmm.
She has to sit through his MLK speeches and well, let me not say that because MLK speeches had substance, so let me stop with that.
So I don't know, maybe they possibly made a breakthrough. Maybe this will help their communication in the near future. Yes, what you think?
I mean, of course, I agree with you. It stuck out to me when Marie said to Monster, I really want to try to get to know who you are, and I want to get to know you. And which is something that I said reviews ago, like you don't even seem invested into your one child. And Monster came back with it and was like, well, I don't even know who I am right now. Like, I'm figuring it out. And and that's my thing, right? Like, I feel like as adults, a lot of times where the mark is missed is that I know for some people it may be really long ago when you were a teenager, but I'm like, just take a second and try to remember all of the feelings and all of the challenges that you were going through. Just the changes with your body alone. Like, being a teenager is one of the most confusing times and emotional times of your life, really, because it's like you are really trying to figure it out. One day you're this person, the next day you're somebody completely different, and I just feel like parents sometimes get lost in just being parents. And I understand, a lot of people feel like, oh, I'm not my kid's friend. Absolutely, I'm not saying that. But I think that you definitely create a disconnect when you try to not meet them where they're at a lot of times. And that's just when it comes to getting to know your child and being in tune with who they are. I will say, I always say this line all the time. I always say teenagers are horrible people. They really are. They got attitudes for no reason. Everybody was horrible. Like, it was just horrible. High school was horrible. It was just horrible. One day you wake up and you just mad. You frustrated for no freaking reason.
Hormones.
It's just you all over the place. You get your heart broken and the whole world is over. Like, oh my God, like I'm about to die. Like, I don't even think Maurice had an understanding of who Monster was even before he became a teenager. He admitted, he was like, I focused so much on trying to make him or turn him into my mini me that, I got lost in trying to figure out who he is as an individual. Now, he didn't say it in that nice way like I just said it, but that's basically what he was alluding to. And he got that probably from Kimmy. And Kimmy, I'm pretty sure, has been saying this the entire time. So I don't know. Listen, I still think that Monster belongs with his mother. I don't know who Zay is, who is Kiowa's husband, but I just feel like there are some deeper issues that's going on in the Scott's house between him and his now wife that I feel like is going to be extremely detrimental when it comes to this young man and how he relates in his relationships with other women as he gets older. So, So Mel and Stormy meet up.
I think it was at a coffee shop.
Was it, or was it a red carpet event? Because I think Mel was going to a coffee shop and Stormy was going to see, like, The Godfather. I don't know where she was going. I don't know, but she had a driver. She pulled up in her Rolls Royce. She had on, I think it was like an all cream suit.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she had a meeting after this. I don't know. But I know that the memes have been funny regarding this scene, because I didn't even catch it the first time, but I caught it the second time we watched it. I was like, now why did you come to the coffee shop like this?
Mm-hmm.
And what made it even more funny to me was Mel showing up in sweats. Like, Mel came like kind of looking like me, just her hair was straight.
Oh, she came dressed like, oh gosh, another conversation about why I'm acting this way when you should know why I'm acting this way.
Even though I've already articulated it to you.
So let's talk about the same. She got there. Let's talk about the same thing. Sweatsuit on. So, let me eat. Try to put some food in my stomach. I'll be productive after this waste of time. But,
So, Stormy just kind of gets right into it. She says that she feels like Mel avoids hard conversations. Mel says, well, if I avoided hard conversations, I wouldn't have posted that tea and I wouldn't be here right now. And I was like, boom.
Mel doesn't avoid hard conversations. She avoids repetitive conversations.
Get your life. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you.
That has to keep
Get your life.
And keep happening. Get
your life. That's that part. Yes.
Keep happening. That's
what it is. Yes. Because I love how, before I get there, Mel or Stormy says to her, she asked her about how she felt about what her mom said at the tea. Even though Mel was about to go into it, but she interrupts her and she's like, well, how do you feel about what my mom said at the tea? And I was like, oh, you just living for this moment, huh? You couldn't wait for this. And Mel asked, Mel was caught off guard, and she asked Stormy, she was like, well, my thing is, did you know how your mom felt about me before the tea? Have you always known how she felt about me, that she didn't like me? And Stormy says, she admits it, yeah, basically, in so many words. She was like, yeah, she knew, because her mom doesn't like anybody. Stormy then tells her that, her mom was basing her thoughts on Mel off of the show. And I instantly was like, oh, okay. So it's your mother, because I know there's a lot of women out here that has been extremely fascinating to the both of us. Because I feel like, I guess it only exists on Facebook. I don't have Facebook, so I wouldn't know until Evan told me that there is a really large group of women of a particular age that really has this disdain for Mel. They love Martell, that's one, but they have this real passionate hatred for Mel. And I saw over, not this weekend, but last weekend, whenever you showed me like a couple of like Facebook posts, some of the things that women were saying was fascinating. And then when you click their profile pictures and you see their age group, was even more fascinating. And a lot of their tweets was just based in misogyny, sexism, because women can be sexist too. Let's understand that. Sexism is a social issue. We're all in America. It's a part of our society. But it was a lot of bashing Mel and her being bitter and her not mistreating Martell, which is fascinating to me. And I was like, oh, so I wonder if Stormy's mom was one of those women. Was she also one of the women on Facebook watching the show at home like the rest of us and just...
Her mom was just too invested.
In the show, and she has this hatred for Mel. So she's a fan. She's a fan of the show, got on the show because of her daughter, and felt like this was an opportunity to make up this issue with Stormy. Like Mel was coming for Stormy, so she could have a reason to fight with Mel.
Her mom was having a lot of imaginary thoughts while watching this show. I truly think her mom thinks she got an intro on the show.
I don't know, but it was like that. when Stormy said that, I was like, oh, this makes complete sense. I mean, I feel like we called it a while back from the season premiere. We was not feeling Stormy's mom, and we saw where she was coming from. It was definitely from a bitter place. Mm-hmm. And then also her showing her ass with her own family members. And then Stormy also confirming what the streets have been saying for months about how her mom doesn't like any of her friends, any past friends. That's why Stormy doesn't really have many friends.
And so, you know, my thing too is like this. She loved to try to say during that conversation, I can't control my mom, what comes out her mouth, blah, blah, blah. If you know you can't, why are you bringing her to public places?
And that is the part where it makes me not give a fuck about what Stormy's saying.
Because if you know your friend or family member is a negative Nancy, bad apple, all that crap, why are you bringing them around other people for that energy to rub off on them?
Because she uses that, she uses her mom when it's to her benefit. Because she wanted her mom to come to that tea and to try to create some type of tension between her and Mel.
And shake shit up.
Right. And Stormy wanted Mel to respond. And we said that during the review of the tea.
She should have kept her mom in that trunk.
Right. Hence why we're even at this cafe, and Stormy she was so anxious to bring it up. Also, what you think about what my mom said? Because you wanted Mel to take that bait and say something really negative about your mom so you guys can have a real issue. There's not a real issue. Your problem is you feel away because just like everybody else that comes through Love and Marriage Huntsville, you was moving real shiesty. You was moving like I don't trust it. Mel peeped it, and Mel has articulated multiple times on this show, and I'm like, girl, at this point, don't even repeat it no more. When the season wraps up, Mel takes a break from all you niggas. She's like, all of y'all. She said it. She set the boundary. I've said this before. That is the place that I wish I can get to. I'm aiming to get there because not only with me being an introvert, but also just the amount of the fact that I'm also like a bit of an empath. Everybody's energy is a lot for me. So I definitely need time to recharge. And I can't imagine being on this show with this cast, and we know who's in this cast, and not taking the time to recharge. I don't know how many times she got to repeat that to you, to anybody, but y'all continue to take it personally. You feel away, but on top of that, I know you feel away because you also know that you was moving real sketch. You was doing real sketchy. You had your mama online. She's doing the tweets and Facebook. I don't even know if it was tweets, but it was Facebook posts and all of that extra stuff. And then there was rumors about you befriending or knowing the chick, the other baby mama. Y'all know, I'm not going to say her name. I was this close from saying it. But she was somehow, some way, they know each other. It was just sketch. It was sketch. And Mel's a Scorpio like me. And when we see it, we like, I'm going to fall back. I'm going to fall back. And I know I'm at the place in my life too. I recognize I don't like to match energy. And I'm going to elaborate because this is what Mel is basically explaining. I'm not matching your energy because it takes too much energy. That means that I'm now giving you control to take myself out of who I am and my character to meet you where whatever level, low level you on, your low vibrational level you on. So if you are being disloyal, if you are acting real shady, I'm not going to match that. I'm going to fall off. I'm going to back up. I'm going to put you on ice. I don't want to have nothing to do with you because you're not about to change how I move and how I operate. And that's exactly what Mel is doing. Now, don't get me wrong. Again, I don't believe in the whole when they go low, you go high. No, we all going to hell at that point. But on a regular, like it takes too much energy to try to do what you're doing because I don't move the way you move. I just I have nothing else for you, girl. And so she calls Mel. She says she's passive aggressive and she gaslights people when it comes to her really expressing how she really feels. And I feel like that's what you do. But, you know, okay.
In the next scene, we have the crew visiting the Black Expo site. Letitia comes up in her tight-ass jeans, you know. I know there's been some stuff on Facebook, you know, debating about, is that her ass? Is that a BBL? You know, let's just say over the seasons, Letitia has evolved. But the funny thing about her evolving is I haven't seen her in the gym once. I'll let y'all think about that.
I just know that ass. I didn't hear anything that Letitia was talking about. I was trying to figure that out. I was like, her ass. Like, and plus, I mean, whether she has a BBL or not, I also like the jeans because clearly that gave a little extra plump. Because the ass was assing. And some people, it's like the BBL is BBLing. So, I don't know.
So, y'all, some of the first people to show up after Letitia came in, Marshawn, Kimmy, Maurice. And I think it's funny because Martell came in. And Martell came in just beaming, just smiling. And, you know, I spotted that. And, you know, while she's talking, you know, Martell's like, hey, Tisha, you looking good. You know, you've been working out. And Marcel's like, hold up, what? And, you know, Martell's trying to play it off. I'm talking about her stomach. Dude, no, you're not. We all know her ass poking in them jeans, Martell.
Everybody was looking at her ass.
Kenny looking at her ass.
Everybody was looking at her ass.
You know, the camera crew probably looking at her ass. You know, the roaches, everybody looking at her ass. But, you know, then, you know, Martell tries to play it off, say, Marcel, I mean, I'm talking about you and her stomach. She looking good. You know, you still got some work to do. You know, Martell trying to play it off, blah, blah. You know, then there's a scene, then the next scene, Letitia's telling everybody about she had a conversation with Mel. And she's letting them know that Mel has decided not to do it. And that, you know, she wishes everybody the best. You know, she feels like due to the history with the group and everything that's going on, that it's not for her at this moment. And I just think it was funny because Marshawn made this face like, damn, I wanted to bother the shit out of her like I always do, you know?
You said Martell
made a face like he just made a face like he was so disappointed that he can't.
Well, he voiced it. He voiced his disappointment.
And you know, and here comes the funny part. Here goes Martell. You know, I just don't understand. You know, I'm the type of person I can separate my emotions. Why can't we leave court in court but be able to work together in business? Pretty much saying separating business and personal. And it's like, once again, nobody wants to talk to anybody that tries to bring them to court to take something from them.
Specifically their kids.
That's what nobody wants to see.
He wants that. What?
And so, you know, he said he's disappointed in Mel. He says she needs to be able to separate this because this is for the community. None of them care about the community. Get out of here. Anyway.
Gotta do it for the kids.
The kids.
Gotta do it for the kids.
For the kids. Oh my gosh. Yeah, he was just so funny.
I can't stand him.
And so then we have another funny scene. When she finds him that, you know, they're walking. No. Okay, so Stormy and Courtney come in. It seems like they're on stage right now talking. And, you know, Letitia welcomes them. I think it's funny. Martell's like, oh, yeah, y'all the replacement for Mel.
Which is true.
Which is true.
But yeah, Stormy and Courtney are just the replacement. And they are just so excited and like jumping with glee.
Little do they know.
And I cannot wait for the next scene. But they're just like, oh my God. Like, she's like, I love to do stuff like that. I love doing stuff for the community.
And it was so funny because after that, Letitia goes like, oh, and like goes to give her a hug talking about, that's my language. This whole event is for y'all to pocket some damn money and pay these lawyer fees because y'all getting sued left and right. Because y'all shiesty. Y'all need some money. Y'all need some money to pay for these lawyer fees. And once again, and you know, before we end this, because, you know, I don't like to spend a lot of time on each segment, I told Brie before, Carlos does a great job of hiding Letitia and Marsal's business.
Get your life. Yes, you on one today.
He does a great job.
You are on one today.
He allows you to see what you want to see.
Listen.
He allows them to withhold certain information. And we hear a lot of their shit on social media. But guess what? None of it populates on this show because he protects them for some reason.
I will say one thing. Shout out to y'all, right? Like, we are a little bit over 300 subscribers. I'm going to say this at the end too. This is a shameless plug. We are on the road to 500. So please make sure you are subscribed to our channel. But for our subscribers that have been very active in our comments, I'm not gonna lie, y'all definitely have been putting us on game. Mm-hmm. Y'all have been revealing some things that I had no clue. Because I told y'all, like, I really have tried. When we decided that we was going to review Love and Marriage Huntsville, which, remember, let the record show, I did not want to do this show. Because I knew it would bring up, like, a lot of tension with social media. But I said that we would focus on the show and not get involved with all of the social media shenanigans. But y'all have been giving us a lot of content or context. Y'all have been giving us a lot of context to a lot of different things because I had no idea. Also because I don't like the Scott, so I really don't be checking for them. But y'all, listen, y'all... Y'all want to talk about people shady. That's y'all. Y'all shady. Okay, so the actual day of this expo, which, oh God, can't believe we're still talking about this expo, but it's the day of it, right? So Tisha walks in and, hold on, backtrack. Stormy. We start with Stormy. Stormy is setting up her, I can't even call it a boo, because Stormy had like half of the, at least a third of the room. She had furniture. I don't know what okay, but she had banners, balloons, couches, wall art, products. Like, it was, she went all out, okay? And she says that Courtney was back at the warehouse. They had to get a large shipment out, so he wasn't there with her, right? And that's very important to remember. I'm bringing this up for a reason. So Stormy was by herself. Well, she did have her mother-in-law with her that was helping out, and of course, a couple of her staff members.
Yep.
So Tisha walks in to the space, and we meet Tisha's publicist, Angela. For the first time, she has a publicist. I will say this. I don't know this lady. I do not know this lady. But Angela looked like she didn't know what was going on. And I say that because she tells Tisha that they were getting so many vendor requests throughout the night and throughout the last few days, to the point where she just didn't want to tell them no. Okay, so she's a publicist. This is an event that's being held indoors, and you do not have a cap. Okay, so she was just accepting vendor requests. So Tisha's like, okay, like, this space, I'm seeing we're losing a lot of space here. Like, how many vendors actually came in? They confirmed that they have 25 vendors in this little bitty space, y'all. If y'all did not see this episode, it was like an auditorium. That's what it felt like. That's what it looked like to me. It did. I'm not even trying to be funny. It was like, because there was a stage in there too. So it was a stage in the same room where the vendors were going to be placed. And if you guys remember, the little bit of information that we did get from all of those pointless meetings, they were going to have speakers, like panelists, I guess. So that means you also have to set up chairs and take up room in this space for the panel discussion, along with the vendor tables. Yep. So we also find out, I don't know why I tried to give Tisha and Marcel the benefit of the doubt, because I was like, I know that they had to send out, like the layout and the dimensions of the space. Like, I know they did, right? They had to. Because Tisha walks over to Stormy and was like, oh, like, it looked like, took up a lot of space, girl. Like, we have 25 vendors, so we're trying to save as much space. And Stormy was like, well, yeah, like, I never received dimensions. Now, I don't know why I'm shocked. I really don't know why I'm shocked, because Tisha has already proven herself to be very ignorant when it comes to planning events and operating a business. And I'm just going to go out and say that. And it's not even to come from a shady place, but it makes me so angry. It really does. And I don't know why, but it makes me really angry. I don't have a master's in business. I don't even have a degree in business. It's not what my degrees are in. And yet I have put on multiple events. I have also been a part of planning multiple conferences. And what I do know is that sending out the dimensions and the layout to your vendors is not even it's not an option. That's what you have to do. On top of having a max. You have, let's say you have a space, you want to do 20 vendors. That's your max. And then on top of that, you sell your booths based off of the space. So you might have one booth that's bigger than the others. Let's say it's like a 7 by 8. I don't know. Like, I'm just throwing out random dimensions. Then you'll have like smaller dimensions, and each booth would be a different cost. Like, I'm just kind of like, this is like basic shit, right? Like, don't we? Okay.
Look what we're dealing with. Don't use the word basic.
I'm very confused, but not the woman that got the business degrees, not the woman that owns multi-million-dollar businesses. This doesn't even make any sense. And I can't put it all on Tisha. Let me say the Scots. This is really ridiculous to me, because then Marceau comes in like he's like leading something. Why are balloons here? We need 2 monitors here. And like just saying like random, like unimportant shit in the room. It's like, no, bro, like why were these things not in order? Then gonna ask Tisha, oh, hey, T, did Stormy, did she give her $100? Did she pay for her boo? And Tisha's like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, she was supposed to give her money. She's like, we never said anything about them paying, which is a fact.
Because my thing is, they constantly say nobody's getting paid, but now some people got to pay?
We had how many of these pointless expo meetings, and that never came up? Are you kidding me? So then he's like, well, I'm going to go over there. I'm like, you got to go over there and ask her about that. And Tisha's like, that's tacky. I'm not doing that. And it was in that moment that I recognized, like, this is a prime example why I call Tisha dumb. Because it's dumb because you know better. Mm-hmm. You know better and you don't do better. You know that was some tacky shit. And at the end of the day, I'm not, to a certain extent, y'all, please do not attack me for this, but your spouse, your kids is an extension of you. So because she was like, oh, well, you go over there and you go talk to whoever you want to talk to. Because he was like, well, who do I talk to about it? She was like, go talk to whoever you want to talk to. Mm-hmm. Like, brushed him off because she knew it was some shady, tacky shit. She flat out said it. But my thing is, he is an extension of you because y'all do business together. Y'all represent like each other. Y'all put it out there that you guys have these businesses together. And so for you to, y'all, I'm getting hot. Like it aggravates my soul. Like, oh my God. Anyways, he goes to Stormy and really asks this woman the day of the event as she's setting up, oh, were you able to send that $100? After he tries to like butter her up, oh girl, you look so young. Oh yeah, Stormy, Now, was you able to send that $100? And Stormy's like, what $100? What are you talking about? What $100? Mm-hmm. He was like, oh, for the booth. And she was like, y'all never said anything about paying for vendor space. Y'all never said that. And she was like, why didn't y'all say that during the walkthrough? But then my question to Stormy is, why you ain't asked that during the walkthrough? Why you ain't ask about the dimensions during the walkthrough? Because you're a business owner too. And I will give you this, Stormy. You are smarter. Why didn't you ask those questions? Because you was too happy and jumping with glee to be on Team Scott. to replace Melody Hope or Melody Cherie. I'm always mess that up. But that's you was too focused on that. Because why didn't you ask that question? Because that's the first I'm asking those questions when you ask me to be a part of your event. I'm coming to the walkthrough with a bunch of questions.
Mm-hmm.
As somebody that has been a part of the coordinating team for conferences, major conferences, international conferences, there are walkthroughs. There's multiple walkthroughs of the space. That's one. And then two, multiple production calls. That's another thing. And then three, I mean, that's when you come in with all the questions. I just found that to be so ridiculous. And so even though I agree with Stormy, because Stormy was ready to pop off, she was like, that's very low vibrational of you to come up to me the day of the event asking for a little measly $100. Are you kidding me? That's how y'all do business? And she just kept saying, like, that's very low vibrational. And she's telling Marcel this, and then he then changes the word, and he was like, oh, no, he's like, now you being low vibrational. Marcel don't even know what low vibrational means, even though he is a walking example of somebody that is extremely low vibrational. So he calls Letitia over and was like, oh, T, like, Stormy being low vibrational. And that's what Stormy was like, no. And she starts talking to Letitia. It was like, your husband came over here really trying to ask me for $100 randomly that I knew nothing about. And then he's trying to interrupt, like, no, like trying to grab her. And she's like, don't touch me. And that is that, like, yeah, what is wrong with you?
They must have had a bill that came out that morning because he just made that up once he got
He
there.
is a scammer.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you got to when you're being sued by 10 different people.
You won't keep saying that. Remind the people.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of court costs. That's some lawyer fees. So you gotta do what you gotta do. Remind the people.
You gotta do
what you gotta do.
Cause you again, like Stormy, I'm on your side because they are shiesty. But we could have told you. We told you that. But you wanted to be Team Scott so bad because you thought the grass was greener on that side. So it's like, let me be the adversary of Mel because it's Team Scott.
She must not seen the grass at that property they trying to build that house at.
Get your life.
She must not seen that.
Get your life. Because what do they have to show for it besides the actual building of black? You got to be out your mind. But that's how the episode ends. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a to be continued. Stormy now gets the reality. She flat out says she was like, she's never doing business again with the Scotts. What did she, I will say this. She said that they are, she said that Marcel was out of his rabbit ass mind, which he is. And she's not here for it. And that's how the episode goes off. Any additional thoughts on that?
I swear this expo is going to have so many laughs. I'm seeing it already. It's one of them things where this is supposed to be a free event for the community. I can see it now. Marcel going on stage. So, we taking some donations.
Hey. I cannot. Like he gonna go, like you said, he gonna go around and ask all the the attendees, oh, did you pay your $10 entry fee?
That, and then it's gonna be like, oh, did you make some money today? So we're getting a certain percentage of it. Right. That is gonna be so funny. It looks so unorganized that it's gonna be funny.
I can't wait. I can't wait for the Black Expo.
This looks so unorganized. It's so crazy. I've seen, it's like, there's bake sales that function better than this.
Because, listen, the Girl Scouts been doing it for years. They've been doing it for years. Do you hear me?
Gosh.
They've been doing it for years. Please.
But y'all definitely let us know how y'all feel in these comments. Because like I said, we're ready to hear what y'all got to say.
Right.
We're definitely going to respond. Next week's episode is going to be some shenanigans. Like, I can tell y'all it's going to be so... It's so unorganized, I feel uncomfortable watching this. I don't know.
Now, we're already on an hour, guys. And so we didn't really get a chance to really talk about the interview that Maurice and Kimmy did. But like always, I'm pretty sure that you guys have seen it by now. You guys have seen the clips. If you don't know, Maurice and Kimmy decided to go on I don't even know what to call it. But they did a really bad interview on TGIF, which comes on Fox Soul, with Funky Dineva and Claudia Jordan, and Al. And all I will say is Claudia Jordan said all of the right things. She asked all of the right questions, and she was the voice of the sane. And Funky Dineva, as always, was able to get them together as well, and was able to pull their card. It was really a hot mess. I guess the intentions were to give Maurice the opportunity to backpedal on everything that he said in that interview that he did a couple of weeks ago with Carlos King on his YouTube channel. And all he did was make it way worse. Claudia in particular kept giving him the opportunity to retract what he said, because they came on the show basically like, oh, he used the wrong words. But he meant what he said. It was very uncomfortable to watch. I will say also, I don't know if Kimmy will ever see this. More than likely, I don't know if she watches this. I don't know, girl. But if this gets to you somehow, some way, Kimmy, I would just say it's really disappointing, because I really did like you, or I really do like you on the show. But I'm very disappointed, because I feel like you are a very intelligent woman, and it would have been great for you to also show us that you see value in yourself. But because you exist in this very abusive relationship, it shows just how much you don't have a lot of value in yourself. And it makes me sad. It really does. And watching you be so uncomfortable sitting next to that man that only cares about himself, it's really disheartening. It's really disheartening to watch as another woman, as somebody that's not married. You don't gotta listen to me or anybody else that's out here that has their opinions on this, but I would just say, just woman to woman, it was just very disheartening. And I hope, girl, that you're able to break free, because it seems like, y'all, Kimmy is really, I guess she's officially in the sunken place. That's the only thing I can really say. And it breaks my heart, because unlike Letitia, Kimmy is extremely intelligent. And she has to know that she deserves better. Well, clearly she doesn't. It breaks my heart that she doesn't know that she deserves better. Evan didn't watch it.
I'm good.
But I did tell him about it. Did you want to repeat what you said a little bit?
I ain't really got too much to say about it, because it's disgusting. It's honestly just embarrassing. He made himself look like a fool on national TV. Kimmy looking like a fool on national TV. Looking like a fool in front of your son now. Yeah. Y'all need some milk.
Well, everybody, tell us how you guys feel about it. What are your thoughts on the interview? Because I know y'all saw it. I know y'all did. So yeah, just let us know. Just a quick update. We are going to be doing Ready to Love. We did make the decision. We are going to do it, but we are going to start next week, because not too much happened in the first episode. You guys know, if you are familiar with the show, it's kind of just like introductions. I mean, we do have some thoughts, but we felt like it wasn't like a whole lot for a whole review. So we decided to just couple the two episodes. So we'll catch y'all next week with Ready to Love. So y'all get ready for that ride, because it's going to be a ride, because y'all know this whole network, throw the whole network away. Oprah, come back and get your channel. Because they running amok, okay?
She on vacation.
Come back and get your channel, girl. I don't know what they doing.
But y'all, we definitely hope you enjoyed today's episode. And we thank you for tuning in to us for another episode of Reality Check TV. So y'all be sure to leave y'all thoughts in the comments. We're here to respond. We like to see y'all communicate. Keep it up. We're gonna watch this week's episode. We're gonna give y'all a review. We're here for it.
Yes. Anything else?
So, as y'all know, we're in the middle of summertime. It's getting hot out here. We've had some record heat. So y'all make sure y'all drinking y'all water. And it's too hot to be in these streets. So stay in the shade on the sidewalk.
Yeah, so that means I'm not about to go to the gym right now. Or do any. I'm over it. I think, okay, I'm going to go work out. But bye.